AEW Dynamite hit record low viewership amid light competition. The September 3rd episode of AEW Dynamite, held at the 2300 Arena, drew just 472,000 total viewers and a 0.11 rating in the 18 to 49 demo, the lowest in the show's history, and a 19% drop from the prior week despite minimal counter programming. Decline has raised concerns, obviously. That I typically don't talk ratings too much anymore because I think with Max being involved and us not really getting access to those numbers, I think it's a moot point. However, a 19% drop in just a week coming off of that pay-per-view. And then Collision was not very good either. Collision was like less than 200,000 too.
Yeah.
I would, if I were AEW, I would be pretty concerned with the numbers, right? Unless they have
Yeah.
data points that we don't get, I would be pretty damn concerned with that.
Yeah, I think the way I view it is view it as a data point and not a trend. Don't worry about data points until they're trends.
Yeah.
If you look at NXT numbers and AEW numbers every week, they usually drop or rise about the same percentage. This week, Dynamite dropped much lower than what NXT dropped. I wouldn't worry about
NXT
it
held up.
until
Oh
so
shit!
NXT.
Josh Allen just threw an interception in the end zone. Sorry. Yeah.
NXT, I think the previous week was in like the 700 range, and around like 19 or 20 in the demo. Whereas this past week they were in like the 655 range and like, or not 19 and 20 in the demo. I think they were like 14 or 15 in the demo. And this past week they were like 655 and like point 14. So it
Okay.
held up, but there was still a drop. Um, and I think NXT was more coming off of the holiday was Monday. I really don't know if that affected either one. But again,
Mm,
there's usually about the same drop and rise for both shows. If NXT
yeah.
drops on Tuesday, you usually expect to see AEW drop on Wednesday. NXT rises on Tuesday, you usually expect to see AEW rise on Wednesday. The Dynamite fell much further, but until it's a trend, just view it as a data point. If it
Yeah.
becomes a trend, then at that point you have to start looking at yourself and saying, what's going on? Dave did say, hey, maybe Osprey meant a lot more than we realized. That could be possible, but I wouldn't make any drastic changes or get freaked out until we see it continue.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are pointing at the venue, the 2300 Arena,
Yeah.
which I thought looked great. I know it's very small,
Hmm.
right, in comparison to what AEW normally runs, but they normally run these bigger arenas and they don't fill them, so that
Yeah.
doesn't look good too. So I always felt like if you can't fill the big arenas, go fill up the small arenas. Like
Right.
fill up arena that you can fill up because like at least it's going to be loud and raucous with fans. And they did. It looked like a television studio, which I
Yeah.
was fine with. I like that doesn't bother me. It actually looked like the Impact Zone almost.
Right.
Um, in some like the old Impact Zone in Orlando with the way they had it set up a little bit. But so I didn't really view it as a bad thing. But I guess some people, it's a barrier for them because they're watching it. It's like, oh well, there's not that many people there, so I guess I shouldn't watch it.
Yeah. I I hope that's not the reason because I thought what I seen of it, I thought the crowd came off great. I thought
Yeah,
it looked great. I thought the production and the arena looked great. I'm not sure for that large of a drop, it's got to be a multitude of factors.
yeah,
And like I said, I remember the when they went against the Kendrick Lamar concert, they were in the 400s then too, and everybody freaked out and were trying to figure out what it was, and then they were right back to where they should be the week after that, and then grew again a little bit. They've had a better year this year, I think, than last, so I wouldn't freak out just yet.
yeah. No, yeah, I feel you. Yeah, I wouldn't freak out too much. The thing is that I think the biggest problem is they shot their wad on the pay per view, and
Yeah,
I don't think they really had anything interesting lined up for the shows afterwards. And I felt like they just took a couple weeks off.
yeah,
Like, not to say that the shows were bad. I thought the shows were good, but I didn't see anything compelling that would make a viewer want to watch from week to week, right? Like
Mhm.
these 8-man tag matches, they're very fun. It's just not compelling television, right? Like,
Right.
you don't really care who wins the match, and so I could see that also being an issue. People want to blame it on Hangman as champion. No, I don't think that's an issue. I don't think that's a problem. I would see it as an anomaly now. If they come back this week and it's fucking 470 again, it's like, okay,
Yeah.
maybe we should maybe we should change some stuff around. I do think Collision from last night is probably going to eat some shit too.
Yeah.
Um, I know there was no NFL on last night, but you had NFL on Thursday, Friday. You had college football on Saturday, and you had NFL back today. A lot
Yeah.
of people are watching a lot of television, and a lot of it is based around football right now. And I think that people only have so much bandwidth to watch.
Mhm.
I forgot the Collision was on last night, so
Yeah.
because I had other shit to do and other shit to watch.
Yeah, I do think the Michigan OU game is going to do big numbers. I mean
Yeah,
that is a pretty big matchup early in the season, so I do think that'll be hard to compete with. But that's just something that Collision's going to have to deal with. I think we're beyond the point of worrying about the collision numbers because they just are what they're going to be. Collision
yeah,
numbers are they're just there. They're basic. It's basically Sunday Night Heat at this point with better wrestling.
yeah. Wait, much I would say much better wrestling, but yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, I thought this was pretty funny. AEW should be worried about this. Not really. Um, TNA outdrew AEW in live event
Mhm.
attendance this week.
Yeah.
Legitimately.
Yeah.
TNA Wrestling continued its momentum by drawing over 1,000 fans per night for its Impact tapings on September 4th and September 5th at the Armory in Minneapolis, Minnesota, um, outpacing AEW's estimated 916 tickets distributed for Dynamite on September 3rd, and I think they had around the same for the Collision show. So both companies had two shows, and TNA drew over 1,000 each night, and AEW did not. Now, caveat that AEW couldn't possibly draw more because there wasn't enough room in there for them to get over 1,000.
Yeah.
So that's why I made the joke on social media. Some people just went right over their heads, but
Yeah.
but I think if I'm TNA, I'm probably advertising that. Yeah, we were the second most drawing US based company of the week
Yeah.
behind the WWE. Like I would definitely be telling people that.
So right after the Wednesday numbers came out for Dynamite, and I don't know what the plan was initially, but is it Carlos Silva, the guy kind of in charge of TNA right
Yeah,
now?
yeah,
He tweeted out like where Impact was airing like free access live like everywhere and like making it like a big deal. And I retweeted it. It was like, oh, TNA smells blood in the water. They're
yeah.
coming for number two. And like a bunch of people were freaking out on me. I was like, guys, like, come on now. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. AEW is sensitive about that number two trophy that they hold.
yeah,
Not so much the company, but I would say the fan base.
yeah.
They like the fact that Tony has that number two trophy, and he's like, "Look,
I I
we
think
have the silver medal, and we're not giving it up to TNA or anybody else. We're proud of the
yeah.
silver medal."
I think there's a such a hatred for TNA that like AEW fans want to make sure TNA fans stay in their place and like want to make sure TNA stays in their place.
Yeah,
And because I do think there was a point where they legitimately thought AEW was going to war and was going to try to overtake WWE, and they quickly realized that wasn't going to happen, and now they got to make sure TNA stays in their place. Talking
yeah,
about those specific fans, not the company.
right, right. Well, yeah, those fans want to fight battles on behalf of the company that they know they can
Yeah,
win, right?
yeah,
And so, like they fought the NXT battle and
yeah,
they won that one. Very proud of it.
yeah,
But now they want that TNA battle. They're thirsting
yeah.
for it. There was talk of a TNA when they get their new TV deal, if and when that happens, going head to head with AEW.
Mhm.
Um, and that like people were saying that WWE was going to force TNA to go on Wednesdays, and that
Yeah.
is not the case. And like I heard it emphatically, like that's not true. Now Carlos Silva did come out and say that he would be open to Wednesday, and here's
Mhm.
why he would be open to Wednesday. He would be open to Monday at 2:30 a.m. if somebody gave him $10 million for it.
Right.
He would take any deal down the pike that he can get. So that's why he said he was open to Wednesday, but he would prefer to stay on Thursday. He doesn't want to go head to head with AEW. He doesn't need all the
Right.
nonsense, right? Like they don't want that. So, but I guess it's a possibility that they could go head to head. I don't see it happening. But what I will say is if they do end up on Thursday nights on CW, I think that's a real possibility.
Yeah.
And if AEW has another bad night like they had this past week, and say TNA has a good night, I think you could conceivably see TNA have more viewership on CW for a week than AEW did on TNT that week. I think that's a real possibility.
Yeah. I would ask you what number next week for Dynamite. Oh, I guess this week. What number this week would make you worried if you were AEW and Dynamite? Like, is it if you're under 500 again, or is it 515? Like, what number has you worried?
I like anything under 6 is not good for them, but I would say like
Yeah.
super worried would be under 5 for sure.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
I do wonder, I think I made this joke to you before that if TNA gets put on Wednesday, I would immediately try to get AJ Styles back in the building and put the title on him for a farewell run. Because I
I
do
think
think
they
that's
should
something. Mm,
I think they should just do that anyway. Like
yeah.
if you're TNA, I don't think that Tony Khan would be outbid for AJ though. I don't think TNA would be able to pay more. Tony, I don't know this for a fact. I just know it's true. Tony
Mm,
wants AJ Styles, right? Doesn't and
yeah.
I don't think he cares how much it would cost him. I think he would pay any
Yeah.
price.
I think if AJ wrestles for a company outside of WWE, it would be TNA and it
Yeah.
wouldn't be because of money. I think he has said several times that when he hangs them up, he wants to work for WWE as an agent or a scout in some form. Like he's fallen in love with that company. I think he's a very much a Vince McMahon guy. I think
Yeah.
he and Triple H get along well, and I could see him wrestling for TNA. Now, if it's a stupid amount of money, I know there's one match in AEW that he wants really bad that there's no way they can make it happen in WWE. His contract is up in February.
Yeah.
So, we'll see. But I think if TNA came to him and said, "Hey, like we've got a TV deal to go live, we need you." I I think it might be hard for him to pass up seeing that the company is ran pretty well right now and to be able to hang it up where he got started or got big.
Yeah, and I think I don't think WWE really wants AJ as a full time wrestler anymore. Like he's just
Mhm.
up there in years, and
Yeah.
um, he's still very good. He looks amazing.
Yeah.
He's still one of the best wrestlers in the company. I just I I just don't think that they think that he would be worth the money anymore,
Yeah.
based on what he would be able to provide. I I could see them trying to influence that deal for AJ to go to TNA. It's like, hey, look, well, you go to TNA, you work there. We'll not that they give him the money, but they, there's Lorenzo Fertitta might be in the mix now. If Fertitta owns it, he would be able to afford a guy like AJ. Did Josh Allen just throw another interception? I think he did. Dude, he's shitting the bed.
How much
I, I
how much
think I
time
think that
is
he
left
could
in the
afford
game for
it.
you? How much time is left in
Um,
the game for you?
Let me see. Oh, dude. So whenever I left earlier, it went
Pause
right
it.
back to the
Yeah.
It went right back. Okay, that's what YouTube TV does. It's
Yep, yep.
40:38 now. Holy shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Okay.
Okay. Okay. So I'll finish my point on AJ. So I think that if they got a TV deal and they got new ownership that were willing to spend,
Mhm.
I think AJ will consider it, especially if WWE is still involved. Like
Yeah.
if Lorenzo Fertitta buys this thing, which I look, we have not heard anything about that in weeks now. It's been a while, which kind of
Mhm.
makes me think that it's probably not going to happen. But let's just say that it does, or another big spender comes in and buys the thing, knowing that they have a TV deal on the horizon. Um, you would probably be willing to lose money on AJ Styles in order to
Yeah.
jumpstart that company. You know what I mean? And I think that if you bought that company and TKO has like a percentage or has a cut, and like the success of TNA benefits TKO not only because it takes away from AEW, but like now they get like a cut.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I think that that AJ Styles deal could end up happening. That said,
Yeah.
I don't think Tony Khan's getting outbid by TNA for AJ Styles. I just don't see it.
Well, and there's also a possibility that AJ could do a dual contract where he wrestles for TNA and works as a producer or a coach or something for WWE. They
Yeah,
do have some of their active wrestlers doing creative for AAA right now. I
yeah.
think AJ's world experience, having wrestled literally all over the world, is a guy who could be of value to AAA, especially NXT, but I think they could use them in AAA, and I could see AAA doesn't have to do a lot of shows. I could see a dual contract where he works as an agent, coach, producer, scout for WWE and wrestles for TNA to get them extra money.
Yeah, I don't think that's too far fetched. Like again, I would bet against it, but I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah.
All right,